There, I bet you guys can hear me now, can't you? There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Thanks, Sid. So whoops, I switched computers. Well, actually, I upgraded to the better computer for today's session, um, so that we won't have the stuttering issues in Big Box, hopefully. And had to reconfigure things, so sorry for that. All right. Well, since you guys couldn't hear anything I was saying, here we are. I'm gonna continue to work on Big Box views for this session. Hey, Watu. Great. Good. So, basically what I'm working on right now is you saw the error message that popped up. There's a glitch in Big Box with the shortcut key for switching views. If you press that shortcut key outside of the games lists, it'll show an error. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on there. So I'm attached now. I think I have a breakpoint set. Yeah, I've got my breakpoint set on in this on-switch view method. So if I press my shortcut key, so now we're walking through the code here line by line. And all of these should be null. Oh, I get it. Gotcha. So we run this stuff whether or not, that's the problem. We run these lines of code down here whether or not any of these were found. So we'll go ahead and stop this and close out a Big Box. It'll error out here for us. And what we can do is if we could just check for null for all of them. I guess that's what we'll do. If text model equals null and CoverFlow model equals null and boxes model equals null, then we are going to just return and leave the method so it doesn't run these lines. And then we should be good to go. All right, give that a test, and that's one done. So now if we press our shortcut for that here, the filters, it won't crash. If we go into arcade and press it, it'll switch views nicely. Let's test our performance here. That looks a lot better, doesn't it? Nice. Yeah, really all it was is the video card. The video card in the other machine just can't handle Big Box acceleration, graphics acceleration on top of the hardware encoding for the video. Cool. Hi, ViewBot. How you guys all doing today? All right. What are we going to do next? We got that all wrapped up. We haven't gotten back to the fan art backgrounds for CoverFlow. I'm not sure if I'm going to get back to that soon or not. We'll see. Alpha navigation for new views is there, although I'm not super excited about the way it looks. It does look all right. I want to get into the options for CoverFlow quality and CoverFlow reflection opacity. I think those would be nice to have. But then after that, excuse me. I think the next important thing, one of the next important things we really need to get done this week is to turn the filters views, into to have those extra views as well. So basically, the platforms list here, we want a CoverFlow view for platforms, etc. So that's the other thing I want to get going today, sooner rather than later. But if I'm just going into this for a second here, the CoverFlow, get you guys' opinion on how this looks down here. Yesterday I was playing with it, trying to get it to slide in from the bottom, and I had some stupid issues going on with that, so I had to cut that out. I'd like to get it to slide in eventually and slide out, but it is what it is for now. I guess if you guys have any ideas how to pretty that up, I'd like to hear them. And then same thing for the other view. What am I doing? Let's go into... I don't like how the bottoms of the boxes are getting cut off there either. It's not too bad, but... So any feedback you guys have on that or ideas, I'd love to hear it. Okay. So I was watching the video from Monday, and I realized that I do a lot of frowning while I'm coding. So try not to frown so much in this video. It's funny. All right. So let's get you guys' vote. Should I work on options for CoverFlow quality and reflection opacity first, or should I work on adding the new views to the filters platform screen? Thanks, Brad. Hello, Brad. So let me know, guys. What do you think? Should I do the CoverFlow quality, reflection, opacity stuff, add options for that first, or should I jump straight into adding the new views for the platforms and the other filters? Brad says quality. Because then that can be applied to the filters. Sure, of course. First quality performance. All right. Well, two votes to one. Sorry, ViewBot. We'll get there. Let's get the quality and opacity settings in there then. So if we go into, we got to add our, just like we did before for new settings. We got to go into our Big Box settings, and I think. I'm thinking how best to set the opacity. Should we use an integer? I think we'll probably use an integer for the opacity, just percentage. So let's add that first. And the CoverFlow stuff, what section should it be in? General game images, games list, game details, game menu, filters, images, filters list, platform details. It doesn't really fit anywhere but general because it applies to everything. So I guess we'll just stick it in general. Watu is saying platforms, so we're tied now. Oh well. Hopefully we can do this quick. So this is going to be an int cover flow reflection opacity. And then we need another setting for the quality. And the quality, really, it's saved as how ultimately it comes down to how big the images that are used in the thumbnails are. So I'm not sure how best it would be we should store, what sort of format we should store that in. I think what I'm just going to do is provide several options and store it in a string. Cover flow quality, I guess. Image quality. Okay. And then, of course, in our options, we're going to have to set some default values. Back settings. Where did I put that? Let's load up the options pages here. We're going to need some more options, like we're doing here for frame rates. So private static dictionary of string cover flow opacities. Get, and I think we're just going to do intervals of 10. Items.add. The key, which is going to be the value, we'll do 10, and 10% is what's going to display. So I'm just going to copy that line. $20, $30, $40, $50, $60, $70, $80, $90, $100. Return items. So those are our options, all the various options for the cover flow opacity. And then we need options cover flow image qualities. So I think if I look at how we're generating those images, I might get a clue as how to best proceed here. And we're generating the images in this controls cover flow thumbnail manager. Let's get thumbnail. Thumbnail generation, we're calling app.createThumbnail, and the default is to restrict the max height of the image to 400 pixels. So that is going to be the value that we change to work with the actual quality. So I'm going to go, we'll populate the descriptions in a second. The value is going to be, or actually the key, I think, is what holds the back-end value. So we have one for 400. I'm going to say 800. 600 and 200. We'll try that here first. And then for the description for these, lowest, fastest, medium, high, highest, slowest. Yeah. I guess we'll just do something like that. Except these are strings that will need translated. So, I'm not either, Brad. I just got up. I hear you. Still waking up myself. I'm not sure if these 10%, 20%, 30%, 40% stuff, if they need translated. Watu, if you're on, that'd be good to know. He does our French translation, which is much appreciated. I'm just not sure if we need to put in translation strings for these percentages. I'm not sure if they look different. All right, so, but let's get translation strings in for this. Under properties, strings. Value, lowest, fastest. Then we did medium, faster, I think is what we did. Yeah. Value, high, slower. Value, highest, slowest. There we go. We can use those. Strings dot value highest, slowest. Oops. Strings dot value high, slower. Strings dot value medium, faster. Strings dot value lowest. All right. I think that'll do it. Come on, Brad, you know that we're 97% male. We the statistics that we oh, nice. Autumn Sounds got her shirt. She likes it a lot. She's one of our awesome women we have in our community, but we have very few. all the statistics on YouTube and the website, anytime we have male female data, it's always 97% male and 3% female. Yeah, yeah. All right. So we have our different options for opacities and image qualities. Now let's add the actual options under general, and then we can test those and be on to more interesting endeavors. Obviously we're gonna have to implement them yet, but check to make sure that they're actually there. They're both going to be options list items. And we're going to need new strings for these, of course. This is CoverFlow opacity. You got to listen to my booming voice and 7 channels, Brad. .1 channels. Label CoverFlow opacity. CoverFlow opacity. And CoverFlow image quality. Label CoverFlow image quality. Strings.CoverFlow image quality. Item s.CoverFlow image quality equals item.value. And that's a string, I believe. Yeah. So that's good. And then item.value equals s.CoverFlow image quality. And then we need our list of options. Options pages.CoverFlow image qualities. Bingo. Then options pages.general menu items add. New options list item strings.label CoverFlow opacity. Oh, I should have. Yeah, we need to change this to reflection opacity. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Label CoverFlow. Reflection opacity. There we go. Now, item.value is a string, but the opacity is an int, so we need to say int.parse on that. And then item.value equals s.CoverFlow reflection opacity, and do a toString on the end there. And then options pages.CoverFlow opacities. Boom. There's our options. The only thing we're missing now is default values. So basically, these are new settings, so nobody's going to have any values in there for these settings. So if we don't set a default value, things will get wonky. So in LaunchBox, I'm going to Data Manager, initialize defaults. If I could type. Here we are. This dot big box settings dot CoverFlow image quality equals, we're going to set it to high by default, 600. This big box settings .coverFlow reflection opacity equals, I don't know what the default is, so we'll have to come back to this. I'm going to set it to 30 right now. Probably should have set CoverFlow image quality to be an int, but it really doesn't matter that much. Okay. What did I change here? Nothing. Okay. Let's build it, check for our settings. Make sure the settings are working properly. Okay.
Initializing Big Box.
What am I checking for? I'm not paying attention. Options. General. CoverFlow image quality. High, slower. Yep. That's working with the correct defaults. Boom. Good, good, good. Oh, we need to check to make sure it saves it, though. Make sure I don't screw that up, because I've screwed that up before. Set that to highest, opacity to 90%. Exit, load it back up.
Initializing Big Box.
Options. 90 highest. Yep, good. Set this to high for now. Back to 30%. And then I'm gonna have to figure out how to implement this stuff. The quality is the easiest since I already know where that code is off the top of my head. So let's do that here first. The one trick with the quality though is anytime it gets changed, we have to get rid of all the thumbnails and to force them to regenerate. So that's the one thing that's tricky there. Not quite sure how we're going to solve that one, but we can force a test on it in the meantime. So basically, if we go in our thumbnail manager here, we have this app.create thumbnail call, and instead of just doing 400, what we can do is int.parse program. No, not that program. Yeah. Okay, program.datamanager.bigboxsettings .coverFlow image quality right there. And that'll send over the maximum height from the setting. Now the only thing we gotta worry about here is Brad says letting the user change the quality is more crucial. We already force a refresh when images are changed. Why would this be different? Sure. Well, I mean, the big box cache is different, and big box, I don't think I have any code in here to switch up the cache. And actually the CoverFlow cache is completely different than everything else because it requires much bigger images than any of the other caches. So that's kind of why, Brad. Although yes, we have a lot of that code. My LaunchBox folder, what I'm going to do now is under images, cache, this is where all the cache files are stored. And you see the BB flow. These are all the CoverFlow cache items. But I think for now I'm just going to delete everything in this folder, which will make things slow because it's got to generate the images. But that will force it to use the new setting. Let's build it. Start up.
Finalizing Big Box.
You see how all these images are popping in. It's because we got rid of the cache. And if we go into CoverFlow, actually we'll switch. Here we go. Interesting. We got an error here that I need to try and catch. This is on image save in create thumbnail. Okay. Well, we'll need to address that. Let's take a look at that method. Cache image.save. So is this the only save call in this method? Yeah. So basically, the error we're looking at, it's a generic error occurred in GDI plus on image save. So, so unfortunately, there's like nothing I can do about that. It's either a corrupted image somewhere, or I don't know. I suppose it could have been a disk error. In other words, something was in use. But I think I'm just going to trap it and fail gracefully instead of crashing. Ruined, yeah. Pretty much. Okay, so we're going to say, just put this in a try catch block. We're going to catch this particular exception, which is an external exception. What am I returning in this method? I'm actually returning nothing. So in this case, I guess we'll try just ignoring the exception, since there's not much we can do about that external exception. Maybe I should look that exception up and see what causes that. This is image.save external exception. You're saying well, see, this is probably happening every time. So that's not what I need. I need the Microsoft documentation for this method. Oh, come on. System.drawing.image.save. There it is. And we are, I think we're just using save file name. Yeah. So it's this one. Exceptions. External exception, the image was saved with the wrong image format, or the image was saved to the same file it was created from. So, odd. I think I'm gonna just run with this. The image was saved with the wrong image format. So basically, I guess that means we got an image somewhere on in our list that is just invalid somehow or other. I don't know how that would happen, but I don't know that I can trust that, but we're going to run with this for now and see what happens. What do you mean by force a refresh again, Brad? You mean force a refresh again on that particular image? Yeah, I thought about that, but I think if it fails once, it's going to fail again. That's the thing, and I don't want to just keep failing.
Finalizing Big Box.
All right, NES. Let's switch to CoverFlow, of course. It's generating all the images, and yes, these images look like they're higher quality. So that's obviously working. We'll go change the setting and go into options, general, change the reflection or the image quality to the lowest, because that'll be glaringly bad. And we'll go into something we haven't been in. Let's just do something small like Nintendo Wii. Yeah, see, really ugly or really blurry images there because we changed the size of those images. Okay, if we go back now and go into make it highest. Go, what can we use here? Let's go into GameCube. This should hopefully be like max quality. If it's not perfect, we might need to increase it again, but I think it looks okay. I'm not seeing any performance issues. This will obviously take up more RAM, no question. Yeah, Brad, I was working. I was gonna go pick up a new video card and all this stuff, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, you know, I'm not using the best computer in the house for work, which is kind of stupid because I spend the majority of my time on the computer for work in my office. So I swapped my gaming rig with my work rig, just because there's no reason for me not to. So I'm all hooked up now in here. So yeah, I'm pleased. It was the video card because the CPU is the same between these two machines. It's just the video card's crap in my work machine. So we're good to go here. So quality. So basically everything's good there, I think, from what I can tell. We might want to boost up the highest a little bit. I'm not sure. The only thing is it's maxing out at 800 pixels high, and on a 1080p monitor, that's probably about right. Since it's 1920 by 1080, at least 200 pixels on the top and bottom. That's probably good. If you're dealing with 4K, obviously it's not going to be, but I don't even want to know what it looks like when you try and use 4K resolution for those images. All right, so that's good. Good there. The one thing we do need to do is force the cache to reset when we change that setting. That's the trick. I wonder if we could do something where we check the height of the image and force it to refresh if it's not correct. But that's going to slow down the entire operation, so I'm hesitant to do that. It'd be better just to delete the cache when we change that setting. But then when we're saving all that stuff, yeah, so I guess I'm just trying to think through the best way to do this. when we save the settings for the image quality and the reflection opacity, now we save this stuff in main view. Main view model. I think this is where this stuff happens. Maybe not. I don't remember. Show settings. Show options. Okay. We got options anywhere else? That's it. So it's probably an options view model. On back, maybe. Or on escape. Yeah, here's our background save method when we're saving all our settings. So excuse me. Sure. So we are doing this in a background thread, so we should be okay to delete the stuff in here. We are going to want to put it in a try catch though, because you're going to run into an image or something that's in use, and I'm afraid of that. That's one thing that's a pain about clearing the cache, is because you run into images that could be still in use, especially with like Dropbox. Even if the application isn't using it, if it's uploading it to Dropbox while you're trying to delete it, it's going to cause an error. And there's not a whole lot you can do about that, unfortunately, other than to keep retrying. But typically for cache, I don't bother with that, because the user can always go force a refresh on the cache if they need to in LaunchBox. But this is where we should do it, and we should only do it if the value actually changed. That's one trick about this. So data manager, we kind of need a property. Kind of need to know if that value changed. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do that. I don't know. Let's see. Can you not delay uploads or flush out the requests for the images? Well, Brad, Dropbox is just a folder, and it just automatically handles all the uploads and syncing for the folder that is in LaunchBox, for the LaunchBox folder. So no, I mean, I think there might be a way to tap into the Dropbox API, but we haven't needed to at this point. So it's just a folder, so no, I can't really delay anything or time anything with the cache in the Dropbox sync. I think it's best just to let Dropbox do its thing. I got to figure out how to specify whether this value changes without screwing with everything else. I could put that. You know what? I should probably just put this in Big Box itself in the options pages. I think there's a way for me to put more than one command in here. So when it changes, we specify that it's been changed. So I can just cheat and put some static options in here. So I'm going to do this. We're going to say public static bool CoverFlow image quality changed. get set, and it'll default to false. And then when we set it in here, let's see, I don't remember how the syntax works, so I need to look this up. The inline syntax here. There it is. This is what we do. We put braces, and then we can run multiple statements. So the CoverFlow image quality, item.value and options pages dot CoverFlow image quality changed equals true. Come on now, don't do that. There it is. Okay. So whenever that changes, and whenever this is true, when we back out, we can delete all the images in the cache. So this is the background save thread. Here we go. If options pages dot CoverFlow image quality changed, then we do our stuff. First we set it to false so it doesn't do it again. Then we need to actually delete the cache, and only for the CoverFlow stuff. So here we go. We're gonna use just the Windows path stuff. Directory dot get files. We'll do a for each string path in directory dot get files. The path is going to be path.combine the startup path application.startup path. Actually, that's, how do I even do that? Darn it. In Big Box, how do I get the startup path? I don't remember. I think it's fine to use application.startup path. System.windows.forms. Application.startup path. And then path.combine. Actually, gotta move this. Yeah, I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing everything wrong this morning. Path.combine system, Windows, forms, application, startup path, and then images, and then cache. There we are. And then we need the search pattern. And the search pattern is, let's see if we can make this work properly. The file names under images, cache, they're .bbflow dash. So I'm going to say .bbflow dash star. And hopefully that will work for us. And we're just simply going to call file.delete in a try-catch. Every single file needs to be in a try-catch. And it's an IO exception. And we're going to ignore the error if it runs into it for now. So file.delete path. There we are. So basically, we're just going to clear the cache out. See how horribly non-performant that is. It is going in a separate thread, so we'll see. I'm not sure what all has hooks to those files, so it'll be interesting.
Finalizing Big Box.
So let's go. Well, first let's go in here and load this up and take a look. I'm still generating these images, of course. And we're just going to do a stark difference and change it to be slow or lowest fastest. I didn't see a horrible performance decrease there when I exited out. Hopefully it's done by now. Yeah, looks like it's working. They're all low quality now. Woot. Okay, let's cut it off and do highest again. Nice. It works, it works. Beautiful. One thing we do need to check is the memory requirements, because they might be pretty significant, loading up all these images. I need to let the cache catch up. The other thing is it's going to take a lot longer to populate the cache with the bigger images too, potentially. See how well that works. Hurry up. So we're on D. Boom, boom. It's going kind of slow. Let's check how we're doing on RAM. Oops, processes, big box. Well, that's not too bad. We're only using 400 megs of RAM so far. Using a lot of CPU, generating all those images. That makes sense. Bear with me, guys. I wanna wait for this all to populate and take a look at the RAM. Figure out how long that takes, because I just want to make sure that this isn't going to be a system killer or something. But it looks fine so far, so that's cool. Oh, we're pretty far now. We're more than halfway there. Is it really loud, Brad? Yeah, it is, isn't it? By the way, I shouldn't have to tell my my forum's moderator to watch his language, but just in case we got children on the channel, Brad, we should probably tone it down. There it is. Go all the way through it. Poor Brad's ears. He doesn't like my sound effects. we're still only looking at 400 megs. Very cool. Well, that makes me happy. Awesome. Let's go. Just do this one more time. Go to lowest. No images. Okay, why aren't you populating? Catch up. Interesting. Yeah, that's odd. Oh, it decided to start halfway through for some reason. You know what? I'm guessing it's because of we didn't reset the cache to start over from the beginning. I'm not too worried about that because it'll go back and update the beginning when it gets done. But how much quicker is the image generation now? That's one thing I want to know. But I'm not seeing them come in. Who knows where it's going in the list? Ah, there it is. I don't feel like waiting for it. So I'd call that done. That's good to go. That's great. How do I do that, ViewBot? You know, to be honest, for Big Box, Microsoft has some really amazing image caching built into WPF, and they've got some tricks up their sleeves that I haven't figured out how to use, or I haven't figured out how to do in LaunchBox. Unfortunately, that stuff isn't available in the Windows desktop interfaces, but obviously Big Box does a lot better with the image memory management than LaunchBox does at this point. So I wish I could tap into that inside of LaunchBox, and I might be able to, but for right now, I'm basically using the Microsoft caching, the image caching, memory caching, not their not disk caching. We're using our own disk caching, but memory caching wise, we're using the Microsoft WPF stuff. You know, they wrote Windows, so they kind of know what they're doing, and yeah, it works very well. Somehow it manages to keep everything under 400 megs, and it's nice and performant, so that's great. Or do you mean your installation exceeds over 1 gigs? Over 1 gig? I don't know. In Big Box, you mean? I'm not sure. From what I've seen, the Big Box actually uses less RAM than LaunchBox does, as of right now. So maybe you're looking at LaunchBox RAM usage. Not sure. Anyways, so the other thing we need to implement is that CoverFlow opacity, and I don't know how to do that yet. So we're gonna have to look into that. I'm gonna have to research where in the code it's putting that reflection in. No, Brad, the RAM, not the. Or I'm not sure what you meant. Yeah, ViewBot, like I said, LaunchBox is takes up more RAM than Big Box does. Big Box, one thing that makes it easier is that Big Box is mostly read-only. I mean, there's no changes to anything going on in Big Box. So that helps make things a little bit easier to keep, more performant, and then also less RAM usage. Okay. Here it is. This is where we're doing our mirror image, and here's our opacity mask. The start color, the end color, and the angle. Oh, okay, sure. Well, here is our opacity right here, this 127. That's our alpha. So that's our number we need to change. Awesome. That was simple. We're looking at a percentage here on our setting. And so basically we need to change that to be from 0 to 255. So the math that we're going to use, what are we going to use math-wise? Let's see. Basically 255 times program dot data manager dot big box settings dot the opacity. Okay, and that's out of 100. So we're gonna divide that by 100.0, and so that is going to return a ratio. It's going to be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, etc. And we'll multiply that by 255. And now the only issue is we're returning a double instead of an integer that it's looking for. So we'll need to cast this as an integer, and we'll be good to go, I think. Now what's the issue here? Oh, it's a byte, not an integer. Same diff. Okay. I think that'll work. I'm second guessing myself though. In the options pages, all this list of stuff, we didn't put 0% in here, and we need that, so I'm going to add that. There. I think that'll just work. We shall see.
Finalizing Big Box.
And options. Let's do an extreme. Let's go all the way to 90%. See what happens. Yeah. That's terrible. And we got to change our image quality. I'm tired of looking at that. Let's set this to max. And then change this to 0%. And it should remove the reflections. Look at that. That is awesome. Nice and simple. Options. Set it to 10%. Look at that, man. That was easier than I thought it was going to be. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. try the default and see what it looks like at the default. It was set, I think the previous default was 50%, so we might want to change that. I'm not sure. So this is what the default is going to be right now. Doesn't look too bad. Looks pretty good. I think I like it at 50% better, though. What do you guys think? Let's try 50%. Yeah, I like the 50%. I do prefer that. So we're going to change the default to be 50%. 50%. Lower seems better. You think? Yeah. All right. Well, obviously this is preference, which is why it's an option. I don't know. We'll compromise. We'll do 40. Do it in between for the default. You like more alpha? You mean you like it more visible? Is that what you're saying? Or you like more transparency? Go to 40. Take a look at it. There we go. That looks pretty good. You would choose 70%. Really? That's a little much. To me, that's distracting. We could leave it at 50, which was the default, the way it was before. That's got to build the cache. Yeah, that's the way it was before. Yeah, let's run with that for now. So we'll set the default to 50. 40. 40 then. 40, 50, 30. So the that's in LaunchBox, the data manager, initialize defaults. I don't feel like searching. There it is. The CoverFlow reflection opacity, we'll set that to 40. Good enough. Boom. All right. So now we have implemented reflection opacity and quality. So the two items that got left on my original list here are adding more details to CoverFlow and making CoverFlow smaller, and fan art backgrounds. But I think I'm going to skip over those for now, and we will jump into the nitty-gritty here and try and get some additional views going for the filters and the platforms. So bear with me. This is going to be a big job, and you guys aren't going to be able to see anything in action here for quite a while I code this out, because it's not going to be quick. It's going to be significant, but hopefully we can get something at least going before I have to end the call today. We'll see. I've got I think my schedule most likely for live development is going to be Mondays and Wednesdays from 9:30 to around noon, or whenever my kids get home, because then it gets difficult when the family's home. Oh, I was confused what you meant too, Brad. That makes sense. In the call, yeah, I'm still in my work mindset. Actually, back when I actually had a real job, I used to have conference calls with people all the time. Now I just get to work on the fun stuff. I don't got to do any of the crap work anymore. I used to have to build all kinds of crap that I didn't want to build. I don't got to do that anymore, thanks to you guys. It is a real job, and it is a lot of work, but I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. More than I've ever loved my job before, at least. That's for sure. Yep, it's pretty crazy, pretty awesome to be paid for this stuff, absolutely. I think I should check my code in here before we get into the views. I'm glad you don't got to work at Walmart anymore, Brad. I wouldn't want to work at Walmart either. That's for sure. Unidirectional conference calls. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so we added Big Box CoverFlow, opacity, and image quality options. Reflection, opacity, and image quality options. Commit. All right. Boom. So now, this is where it gets interesting, and I got to start using my brain for real. So for these three sections here, this is where I implemented it all for all the models for the games lists. I'm going to need to do the same for the filters. So we have filters view model right here. And this is what handles it right now. We're going to need to add a filters view model base, which is a base class that is going to be inherited by all the different view types. And then we have filter view model, we'll have to do the same thing for. So yeah, game view models and list view models. All right, so for starters, let's add a new folder. Where's my new folder? There it is. Filters view models. And I'm going to drag this up. And we have to do a bunch of renaming and reorganizing here for this, because the current one should be called text filters view model, and that will need to inherit from filters view model base. So first things first, let's actually rename this filters view model base. And this is going to be an abstract class. Change the constructor. An abstract class means it has to be inherited. And this should be protected because it's abstract. And then we're going to add a new class called text filters view model. Make it public. And this is going to inherit from filters view model base. Now it's missing the constructor. Makes sense. There we go. And that's all we need for starters. But obviously we're going to need to change a lot yet. The other thing we need to do is the view has to match the class name because I'm using Caliburn Micro in order to do all my binding. So we have filters view, and that needs to change to be text filters view. We need to change the class name as well. And then also in the code behind. There we go. Now we need to build it, and I might run into an error or two. Just make sure I didn't screw anything up, basically. Make sure everything still works. Yeah, that's what I figured. So basically we got a bunch of things referring to filters view model, and we need to rename them to text filters view model. There's a better way for me to do that. I should have. Oh, you know what though? I messed up the namespace. So basically, if I wasn't using Caliburn Micro, I would use my proper namespaces, but because we're using Caliburn Micro, you guys can look that up if you want. That's just a binding library that requires all my view models to be in the same namespace. There we go. So really, some of these should be filters view model base, and some of them should be filters view model. So we'll use the filters view model base here, and this needs to be filters view model base because this will apply to all the various views. Those are fine. Okay. Filters view model, filters view model base. I updated my Visual Studio and it seemed to fix the issues with search and replace crashing it, so thankfully. Now this basically the constructor has to be the text one, so for now we're going to change these to be the actual new class, text filters view model in the selection. Oops. What was that? There it is. Oh, whoops. Yeah, that got changed to view model base because of the name on my replace. I gotta fix that. A poor computer joke. Your jokes are over my head, Brad. Okay, filters view, sure. So this is in filters view model base. So this is going to have to change, basically. This is going to have to be in the child class. because this only applies to that. Filters visible. I don't know what's all referring to that. Here we go with our restructuring. And this is text filters view. And if we go back in here, we have the remeasure method and the onActivated method. Interesting. I think those are only going to apply to the actual text view. So I'm going to create some well, that's an override already, so we can just move that. The one beneath it, onActivated, we're going to need as an abstract method. Public abstract void onActivated, which will force those to be redefined. I think that was empty, right? Yeah. This is override and text filters view. Details view model, we're going to need to give access to that. Now the details view model, let's just go to definition on that guy. Make this protected so it has access to it in the child class. Filters visible is never used. We probably have errors down here for that, I'm guessing. Take it easy, Sid. No worries. Have a good one, man. There's our filters visible. This is on page down and page up, which is going to need to be overridden anyways, so we should make these abstract. Like, those are already overrides, so I can just move those. Sure, so we'll just move those. Text filters view model. Set selector directions needs to be protected instead of private. Rebuild. Do we build? And we build. All right. Let's just make sure everything works and I didn't break anything.
Finalizing Big Box.
Seems like we're all right. Nothing's borked. All right, so We have our base class and we have our text filters view. Now we are able to create new ones based on that base class, new views. So we're going to start with our CoverFlow filters view model. So we'll create a new class called CoverFlow filters view model. And we're going to need to change the namespace again. Hey Universal, welcome man. Man, I think, since we're 97% male. I gotta be careful. Alright, so CoverFlow filters view model inherits from filters view model base. And we'll fix this. We gotta implement all the missing members. Good, good. Get rid of these not implemented exceptions. We're just going to return false in these for now. Now we're going to steal a lot of the code for this from... Thank you, Brad. Really appreciate your support. The only statistic I know. I know a statistic. A different statistic. No, I'll be nice to Brad. I won't go there. All right. So... let's start with our CoverFlow filters view next. I'm just gonna copy CoverFlow games view, and this will become CoverFlow filters view. Change the class. All right. Now, is there anything in here that we need to change? I think for starters, we'll go ahead and leave most of this the same. I don't know of anything that would need to change for the beginning anyways. So we'll leave this stuff the same, unless now do we need the logo? Do we ever show logo there for filters? I'm trying to remember. Because it's either platforms or genres, or I mean all the different filter types. I don't think we need the logo. Let me check. Easy way to check is just to take a look at the text filters view. And we have title. There it is. Yeah, but no logo. So we can get rid of the logo. Make sure that's the name there is title. Titles, right. Overflow filters view. We have game title. That's going to need to, we should rename that filter title. We have our index. Get rid of logo. Good enough for starters. And our view. And then we're going to go back to our model and we're going to copy some code out of the CoverFlow Games View model. And actually, a lot of this stuff we're just going to copy forthright, I think. We'll see. We're going to need a constructor here. Copy all that stuff. I'm going to close out of everything other than the two things we're looking at. Yeah, import those types. And we're going to need some new items here. I'm just going to copy all this stuff and we can clear out what we don't need. Instead of game, we're going to be using, I'm not sure what we're going to use there, so we'll come back to that. We don't need logo, we do need title. Index visibility we need, index active we need, selected index we need, the event handler selected index changed, yeah, we'll need that as well. And this is going to be CoverFlow filters view model. I don't have this method yet, but we're going to need that reference. Okay, and then we're going to need filter title, except, yeah, we don't have a game to work with this time. So that's going to be different. But we'll need a property for that and also for title. A lot of the stuff we'll be copying as is. We'll copy down to there for now. Alright, so this is going to change. It's going to be filter title, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do here. It's going to, I think I'm just going to make it a regular property for now. We can change that later. So we already have title in the base class. And that doesn't change in theory. So yeah, we don't need this in theory. Index visibility we already have in the base class as well. I don't think we need to worry about differences in code there. Looks right. And index active we do as well. Yeah. Cool. And index I think is the same. Go to definition. Oops. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, that's fine. So we can get rid of this. And we don't need title or logo visibility because they're always going to be visible, I think. Actually, it's not quite that simple. Title visibility. Oh, it overrides. So we should be okay with that as well. We'll use the same thing the text list does, which is fine. We need to make sure that's mapping up though. Title visibility. Yeah, so we have show filters list titles, a setting in there for that. So we need to make sure in our view that that is actually being used. Title visibility. So our view, CoverFlow filters view, title visibility. Look at that. Bingo. Okay. Moving on. We don't need logo. Selected index we might need, but it actually might already be implemented the way we need it. Yeah. It looks... not sure. We're invoking our selected item changed. Yeah, we'll probably have to override that actually. So I'm going to say virtual on that in the base class, and then I'm going to copy this. Put it right there. Override. There we go. Next. Later, Brad. Take it easy. Excuse me. Selected game. This is where it gets a little tricky. We need to use, yeah, I'm going to come back to that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. This is our selected index changed. That gets tricky as well. But we need that method there. CoverFlow filters view model. Selected index changed. And this is going to be CoverFlow filters view. Okay, so all this functionality in here is going to need to change for filters for sure. Then we have init, which we're probably going to need to override. That's going to be different. So for filters, the selected filter is probably going to be, let's take a look at our view. Oh no, it doesn't work like that because it's CoverFlow. The CoverFlow stuff is different than some of the other stuff. Selected game stuff. That's used to fill in the properties for the other values. So I think we're gonna not use it like that. And we're just gonna set the values manually here. Because really all we got the title up on the top right. That's about it. Oh, I forgot. We have in the CoverFlow control, we actually have game integrated directly into the control, so we got some work to do there as well. So yeah, we got our work cut out for us on this, that's for sure. But we'll get there. I'm going to comment this stuff out for now, and we'll put a big to-do on it. Okay. The init methods. If we take a look at our init method in the base class, I'm not sure if we're using init or if we might just be using the constructor only, actually. Yeah, so we don't use an init approach for the filter stuff. That's only for games. So basically, in the base class, we're calling populate. And this should automatically be being called. Sure. So I don't think we need init. We don't need either of those methods. Yeah, we don't need that. Yet, anyways. We are going to need to override on enter and on escape. Maybe not. We'll take a look at that later. On down and on up, we can probably... Yeah, we are going to have to override on down and on up. And then on left and on right for sure. So we'll go grab these. And paste these in here. Okay. Turning the index on and off. Hello, Avisi. I'm not sure how to say that. Welcome. We are in the process of adding. We're knee deep right now. We're in the process of adding the 2 new views to the filters as well, not just the games list, but the filters list. So like platforms. So I'm working on adding the additional views and support for that, CoverFlow specifically, to the platforms list. That's what I'm working on right now. So on left, we're in the index stuff. And then, cool. I'm going to comment this stuff out for now. And same thing here. So we got to think about how that's going to work. And we'll have to implement on page down and on page up. I'm just going to steal these for that. And that's the end. So we can think about making some of these changes that we're missing. Same deal here. And here. Okay. So now we fix these areas that are commented out, and we might just have CoverFlow. We'll see. So basically, we're calling this go to next page and go to previous page on the flow control, which is correct, and we're getting the item back. An item right now is storing games. So where are we populating the CoverFlow items? That's the first thing I got to look at. And we didn't copy a init over, so I think that's what's going on there. Oops. Init. There we go. Here, we're calling these add methods. So this stuff, we don't have this code anywhere where we populate the actual CoverFlow items. So let's go through this. This is being done by the base class. That is to whatever, and actually we don't have that. This doesn't apply. Yeah, so basically when we populate our list, we need to change how we populate the list to do something like this. It's in our constructor. And if I go into my base class, when I populate the list, I'm doing it in this populate method. Bool first, okay. Sure. So we're adding it to this filters list. And we're going to have to change the way this works. So I'm going to make this a virtual method so that I can override it in the child. Right here. And this is override. That we're not going to do. Just filter type, sure. So we do need that. Let's go to definition there. Let's make this protected. Okay, and instead of adding these to the filters, what we need to do See, we're using the selected filter, but this stuff isn't going to apply with our CoverFlow version. If we go back to here, this is the way we were doing this, adding it instead. So each of these needs replaced with something like this. And, oops. So it needs a filter type and it needs a value, which previously previously that's a string, which is basically what is displayed. And we're also going to need an image. Right now we're not doing anything with that. So we're going to need to send a class over to flowcontrol.add that takes details for a filter instead of a game. So image info right now stores the actual game. We need an option, instead of using games, to use a filter. And we need a class for that. So the question is, what class should we use? I'm not quite sure. Because we're going to need we're going to need a filter type. We're going to need, I guess we could just put this stuff directly on there. There's no reason why not. A filter type, the string actual title, and the image path ultimately is what we need. So let's add that stuff to image info with a new constructor, public filter type, get, that's fine, and public string title get, and public, oops, public string image path, I'm thinking. It's going to need to be, yeah, because we'll start with that. All right. And then we need another constructor, public image info, filter type, string title, string image path. This dot filter type equals filter type. This dot title equals title. Oops. And this dot image path equals image path. All right. I don't need that. And then in our flow control, we need another add method. Filter type. String title, string image path. This dot add new image info, filter type, title, image path. There we go. So when we add this stuff, we need to get all this data. So for starters, we have our filter type, this dot filter type. we have our title, which is value. And then the image path is what we've got to look up. And I need to figure out what code I use to do that. I think in the filters view model base, we're going to have to, what image to use in the cover flow for the different filter items should vary based on probably a user option, but we'll get to that later most likely, because we got a bunch of different image types for platforms and genres, etc. But for now, let's just hard code that stuff. When we let's look for selected index changed. Now selected item changed. Maybe not. On up. Here we go. Selected filter. We set selected filter. And in the setter here, yeah, selection change timer. That's what we're using. It's on a timer. Here we go. So the background path and the image path get random main image path on the selected filter. And get big box random main image path. So this is only working for platforms right now. We don't have main images for genres or anything else. Cool, man. That's awesome. I know we have several, or at least a couple other programmers on here, or had yesterday or today. I can't remember who's all a programmer or not, but yeah, feel free to give me input if you have any. Do you work in C#? What's your area of expertise? So for platforms, but this is what we're going to use to get the image, I think. We're going to have to create a method for this. Private void, private string, get image path for string value. So if the filter type is platform, what's this? Got to go back. Okay, this .platform is a platform object. LaunchBox data platform. So we need to basically create a new platform by the name value dot that guy. There we are. Gotcha. So you're just out of college. That makes sense. Cool. So are you still looking for a job? Have you landed a job in the meantime? This dot get image path value. Bingo. Basically, we need to copy this all the way down. Ah, the custom filter stuff. What's the issue here? Oh, it's a save filter. I see. Filter dot title. There we go. Ah, sure. Wow, yeah. I wonder, that makes sense. Have you, yeah, I don't know anything about South Africa, so I can't really help with much as far as finding a job. But I assume you're wanting to stay there? Obviously, I will say, like, man, um, the internet makes it easy to live anywhere, pretty much. I mean, I've worked remotely for my previous employer, Perbyte. I worked remotely the entire time, so it didn't matter if I was in the U.S. or any other country, really. Although tax stuff might be difficult, um, but I tell you what. For development, it doesn't really matter where you're at. If you can land the job, you can do it from anywhere. That's for sure. We don't need to do this, and we don't need to do this. We can get rid of this then too. Okay. So there is our population. Should be working. So I guess at this point, let's see if we can build and see if anything shows up. Oh, well, we have lots of issues. We got lots of things to change in the CoverFlow control yet to support that. Let's fix these CoverFlow filters view. Sure. I changed the names here. Filter title. Filter title. Filter title, and then we got rid of logo completely. Hopefully it'll build. Yeah. Unfortunately, I do think we're gonna have some work to do yet. I hope my goal here is for this session. I want to just be able to put images up on the screen for platforms in CoverFlow. That's what I'm going to shoot for before we cut off. before my kids get home. That's what I'm going for. I think we can get there. I hope we can get there. And then really the rest of it, wrapping it up, won't take too long, and I'll spend the rest of the day on that, and hopefully have a beta out either later today or tomorrow with at least the CoverFlow view for the platforms intact. Anyways, first thing, it does build, so that's good. But we're not using this view yet, so in the main view, or in our main view model, what I'm going to do is platforms. This will be an option eventually, or we'll be able to swap this out. But for right now, I'm just going to change this to CoverFlow filters view model, just for platforms, so we can test it. And I know we're going to get null reference exceptions if I run it right now, so I'm not going to run it. I think the one missing piece we have yet is in the CoverFlow control for the image and stuff like that, because everything right now is coming from game. So if I look at the image info, problem we have here, which makes it extra hard to get a job here, is that even if I can get a remote job, is the laws which are set against us. Oh man, I didn't think about that. Goodness, I see. Yeah, that's tough. So are you looking to stay in South Africa, or are you looking to get out of there, go somewhere else? All right, so we have 16 references to game here. 2 of them are in cover. And we have to deal with this. I think we should put some of this stuff in, okay. Image name is info.game.id. Sure. So we're going to change this. I think, let's go back and add a new property called public string image name for now. Let's call it image name is fine. And return this dot game equals null. We're going to return this dot title, I think. Oops. This dot title. Otherwise, we're going to return this dot game.id. And we can simplify this to an expression body. And then in our here, instead of info.game.id, what we're going to do is info.imageName. Okay. And then in cover, we're doing this get thumbnail stuff. And get thumbnail we're feeding the game into. We're going to have to add another get thumbnail method. Oh man, yeah, this is where it gets tricky. We're generating the thumbnails based off the game and feeding the game into the thumbnails. Thumbnail generation item is going to need what are we using from the game class first? That's the trick. Game.get Big Box Flow cache file path. So the thumb path, what else are we using it for? Thumbnail generation item, we're feeding game. App.create thumbnail. Sure. So really, we're not using game for much. It's the thing is, the reason why we're using the game is because we calculate the path, I think, using this method. Yeah. So we need some sort of ID or the filter type or something. Avisi, he says, well, if I had the finances, I'd go somewhere else, but unfortunately I don't. The law is that even if I'm the best qualified for the job, I would most likely not get the job because I am to the right race, nationality. The law is based on race and not merit. Oh, man. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. That sucks. Yuck. That makes me appreciate the states. As much as screwed up as the United States is, I very much appreciate that that's not the case. Having the law based on race, that's tough. That sucks. All right. But yeah, it's all about the finances to get out of there. So what's your plan? Do you have a plan, or are you just gonna, I don't know, are you trying to get finances up to get out? I mean, what's your next step? So let's see. We wanted to eliminate game from this picture. And ultimately we need the cache path and the original path for this thumbnail stuff. That's what we need. If we feed that in directly, then we can simplify this stuff, potentially. I got quite a bit of restructuring here to do, guys, sorry, before we're able to work with this. This is the last piece, but it's deeper than I was hoping it would be, so we'll get to it. First off, app.create thumbnail needs to be modified to take in not a game, well, we're gonna have to create a new one because I don't want to lose this code. There's a lot going on here, so we're gonna need another one called public static void create thumbnail string source path string thumbnail path and int max height. I gotta implement that guy. Yep, this is for Big Box. Yeah, seriously. All right, man. Well, I'll be praying for you there. That's hard. I'll pray that you can get a job and get your foot in the door and get going. Because yeah, to have a degree and not be able to use it, that's got to be so tough. Sometimes even in the States, that's a major issue too. We have all kinds of graduates without jobs right now. Thankfully, though, in the States, programmers don't really have that problem because, frankly, this field is an awesome field. We're really blessed. But, yeah, for example, my wife graduated with a music degree. And that was a major issue for her. She ended up going into music therapy, actually, which worked out really well for a while before we had kids. But that took a long time. She was without a job for a long time after she graduated. And then you have me, who, guess what, guys? I never graduated. I went to college for 3.5 years, and they fired my main programming professor, which made me really angry because he was the best guy on campus. Leadership at the college where I went to college was just garbage, and they made some really poor decisions. Fired him for all the wrong reasons. Not going to get into that. And I got angry and did not feel like completing the degree. Got a job. I had a job lined up already at this point, so I said, "Screw college." I took the job, and I never looked back, and I've never needed the degree. So, but honestly, I am 2 classes short. 2 classes short of a degree, and I never finished it. So I'm insane. But the Lord has blessed me, and I've never really needed it. So I'm just lucky. All right. So, anyways, we got to re-implement create thumbnail here. We just need image file path. Oh, we already have the source path. Sure. Well, this stuff is the same, ultimately. Then as far as we already feed in the cache file path. Okay. So what we can do is cut this out and put it up here. And use source path here. And source path here. And save it as thumbnail path. And then all we got to do is call create thumbnail down here. The image file path for the source, cache file path, max height. There we go. And qualify this with app. Bingo. Moving on. Zombie PvP, welcome. Right now we are working on adding the CoverFlow view to the platforms list. So I'm hoping to be able to show that before I have to cut off here in maybe a half hour. Yeah, Avisi, this is for big box mode. This is for the platforms view. We are working on adding CoverFlow as an optional view for platforms, filters, basically. Okay, so we're back here, and I need to use. So thumbnail generation item can either have a game, or it can use the whole filters thing. I'm thinking instead of feeding in a game to get thumbnail, I should feed in info instead, and it should pull that stuff. Image info, info. And then when we get the thumb path, and thumbnail generation item is going to store not a game but an image info. Sure. Cool, Vissy. So now, oops, messed that up. I'm going to say string thumb path if info.game equals null. We're going to do one thing, otherwise thumb path equals game.getBigBox front cache file path. Except it's not game, it's info.game. And we'll have to populate it differently up here. Do that in a bit. If not file exists, thumb path, yeah, let's call that, set that to string.empty for now. New thumbnail generation item, we're going to change this to image info equals info. Okay. Creating our bitmap source. Or no, we're creating our, yeah, bitmap source. Sure. Oh no, this is basically returning the empty image is what that's doing. If the file doesn't exist. Okay. This is where we generate the thumb, I believe. Or we add it. Oh, we re-add it to the queue on an error. So image info equals info. And add to queue. I don't think that needs to change. We're getting there. Thumbnail generation. App.create thumbnail. So basically, if item.imageinfo.game equals null, we're going to do one thing. Otherwise, we're going to do this line right here. And this needs to be item.imageinfo.game. And then we're telling the flow control to replace that particular index item. We got to change that method, unfortunately. Interesting. I missed a semicolon there. What's this doing? So it's okay. So we need another constructor here. Public void replace int index. It's the same as the add method. Filter type, string title, string image path. And copy that stuff, and we're just going to change this constructor to be filter type, title, image path. All right. Go back. There we are. So now, if, same thing, if item.imageinfo.game equals null, we do one thing, otherwise we do this code right here. Dispatch item.imageinfo.game. Copy this. Dispatch item.imageinfo.filter type is the first thing, and then index. Oh, we have the index first. Filter type, then title. Dispatch item.imageinfo.filter type title. Wait a minute. Title. Dispatch item.image.info.image path. There. So now, got to implement this. This is basically what defines what the cache image file name is going to be. So we got to generate that. I think I'm going to base that off of the filter type and the value. This might get a little interesting though, because we don't have a strict ID. Trying to think the best way to do this. We're going to have to sanitize the text for the value, unfortunately, because it's a file name. Let's see. Basically here, utilities. So this is a start. So our folder thumb path equals this guy, but instead of this.id, we need to get the filter type first. So info.filter type.toString plus dash. I don't need the toString. And then the value info.text or .title. Trick is that title could be an invalid part of a file name. So what we need to do is sanitize that. I think I've got something in utilities. Get no. How are we doing this? Oh, we have to look, hunt it down, because I don't remember what I used exactly. I know it's probably in the game class, in the LaunchBox project. Get front folder, get front image. Oh, this might tell us. Utilities get full path. Coerce valid file name. Utilities.coerce valid file name. There it is. Okay. Coerce valid file name info.title. Okay. Let's see. See where we're at now. I don't think it's going to build. I think we're going to have a few things I'm going to need to correct yet. But we're getting close, guys. I hope. It builds. Look at that. No kidding. Well, heck, we'll see what happens. Here we go. Da, 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 da.
Finalizing Big Box.
Crash! Figured as much. In CoverFlow filters view model.populate. It's an object reference not set to an instance of an object issue. Yep. Good start. I think I have to kill it because it's in limbo there. CoverFlow filters view model constructor. We have a no reference error. Really? Let's try that again.
Finalizing Big Box.
No, it's duh. It's not in the constructor. It's in populate. CoverFlow filters view model.populate. All right. So it's on platforms right now. So it should be hopping down here. Is filter type blank? Is that maybe the problem? No, I don't think so. Yeah, I might have to walk through this. Problem is this happened on startup and I'm not sure I've got it. Yeah, we'll see. Trying to think how best to do this. I'm not sure if I set that as a startup project. Put a breakpoint up top. I'm not sure if I have Big Box working in a true debug session or not. We'll find out. If not, I can set it up. I just haven't. Yeah, it looks like it's configured. Who knows what's in it? It's probably all messed up. But we will see. Up until what platform does LaunchBox support? You mean like Windows version? It supports anything from Windows 7 on up to the latest, which is Windows 10. Filter type is platform. That's good. There it is. It gets down here. And it gets into adding the filter. Okay, so new filter view model. Oh, wait a second. Well, that was stupid. I missed. Well, thankfully, this is an easy fix from what I can tell. Good. I didn't copy the last to the last two items. I've missed those. Actually, we need to copy these. Just a dumb mistake. They usually are. Okay, so we have platform here instead. Flow control.add platform.name. Oh, yeah, we still need something that... oh, no, we already did that. We already did that. Hopefully that'll work. We shall see.
Initializing Big Box.
All right. Got another null exception. CoverFlow filters view model. Let's copy that error. That one looks a little bit harder to interpret, but I can just run another debug session for that probably. Okay. Wolfman says, if .NET Core 5 comes out, is it possible LaunchBox will run on Linux OS 10? Man, I hope so, man, Wolfman. That .NET Core 5 is what has me excited about, yes, being able to run LaunchBox and Big Box on other platforms. It's not going to be cut and dry because .NET Core, LaunchBox in particular, and WPF with Big Box, we rely on a lot of the more advanced GUI functionalities of Windows. And I haven't done research lately to figure out what all is going to be migrated over in what's going to be in .NET Core and what isn't. But that is going to be the trick. If a lot depends on how much they're able to integrate into .NET Core. But yeah, as far as getting LaunchBox and Big Box on Linux and OS 10, that is the big that's what's showing the most promise right now. So hopefully they really nail that and knock it out of the park. If it's just a matter of making some minor changes to LaunchBox and or Big Box, then it's certainly worth doing after .NET Core comes out. If not, I'm afraid we're gonna run into some major changes, and I hope not. But we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that plays out. Vissy says, like for instance, if I have a Wii U game, will LaunchBox be able to add it with this information and so on? Oh, sure. Well, the thing is, LaunchBox is that all depends on the emulator that you're using. So LaunchBox and Big Box, all it does is fires off the particular emulators. So yeah, you can configure. I think it's CMU. You can configure CMU or whatever, however you say it, which is the Wii U emulator, to run in LaunchBox, absolutely, and get Wii U running on it. I haven't done it, but I know some people have. So yes, you're not restricted to any particular platform or any of that stuff with LaunchBox or Big Box. You just have to be able to configure the emulator in LaunchBox and Big Box, and I know some people have done that for CMU. Okay, back to work here. Actually, I'm going to run a debug session first. Try that. Okay.
Initializing Big Box.
Yeah. Oh, we have a line number now. Filters view models, CoverFlow filters view model to CS line 243. It might take us there automatically, it might not. Yeah, it's not. Okay. Line 243. Okay. And it's a null reference. Oh, what's null? Let's put a breakpoint here and figure that out. This.view is null. Oh. Interesting. Okay, so we have to populate this.view. We gotta figure out why that's null. Makes sense. Okay, go to definition on that, and that's in the base class, I think. Oh, that's all the way in the child viewModel base. I wonder if it's having trouble. Oh, it's because it's in the constructor. Whoa. Okay. So we're going to have to move this out of the constructor somehow. Because right now this populate method is being called from the constructor. And not everything we need is in place at that point in time. So we've got some interesting work to do on that. Huh. Let's see. Filters viewModel base. So basically, we're going to have to call a method manually when we initialize it, or when we create the class. If I get rid of this, populate, that populate method, it's public. So then in my main viewModel, when I create all these, this kind of sucks, but oops. We'll see what I break doing this. Alright, well there's my family. So bear with me here if I have issues. I don't want to end this until I get this done. And at least sort of working so you guys can see it. If we're lucky, this is going to just work. Right. Here we go.
Initializing Big Box.
Okay. Another error. I should just debug it. I'm just hoping it's going to actually work.
Finalizing Big Box.
Okay, this is line 243, CoverFlow filters view model, and it's another null reference exception. Where is it? CoverFlow filters view model, 243. Sure, so I don't think we've got the same error. That wouldn't make sense. I don't know why I just built it. Wasting my time here. Start. The view is still null. Why is that? I guess maybe because we haven't displayed it yet. Yeah, man. I don't know. So if question is the populate method being called again anywhere? Because if the view is null, maybe I should just skip it. I'm going to try that and see what happens. If this dot view equals null, I'll be right back, guys. Give me a second. I'm going to return. I'm still streaming. All right. This dot view equals null. We're going to return. We're going to build this and see what happens. I think the populate method is being called more than once. But we will see. Yeah, there we go. We have nothing in our platforms list now, of course. That makes sense. Well, we got our index showing up. All right. So somehow, when the view is attached, we need to call this populate method for CoverFlow. And I think so we can override on attach view. So we're going to do that. Override view. Oh wait, I think I need to go to the base, which is view models, child view model base, virtual void, attach view. Because basically, and then there it is. Okay. Now we can override attach view. And once we have the view, we can call this dot populate true. So when the view is attached and we finally get the view, then we'll call populate. Let's see if that works. We're so close. Here goes nothing. Of course. Unable to cast object of type CoverFlow filters view. Oh, this is an easy fix. No problem. Let's debug it so we can find where actually that is, but I just got to change the class. That's it.
Finalizing Big Box.
Line 248. Yep, just a stupid mistake. All these need change to CoverFlow Filters View instead of CoverFlow Games View. In the selection, CoverFlow Games View to CoverFlow Filters View. There we are. Come on, guy.
Finalizing Big Box.
Alright. Now what? Value cannot be null. Okay. I'm going to laze out again and do the same thing. Debug it.
Finalizing Big Box.
This is line 162 on utilities.cs. So basically, it's the thumbnail manager get thumbnail on line 26 that calls that. Thumbnail manager get thumbnail 26. Yeah, okay. Oh, wait a minute. Why is that? Alright, now I'm confused. I should have looked at that deeper. Okay. Thumb path.
Big Box.
Okay. Let's try that again. Okay. Let's figure out what the issue is here. Make sure that's working. Yeah. And we're just calling path.combine on that. Info filter type is genre. Info title. Oh, info.title is null. Why is info.title null? Interesting. Okay. So wherever we're creating our image info, are they all null, I wonder? Our image info constructor. Dot title, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's info.title, that's the problem. Okay. So our constructor for image info is somehow making title be null. Our add method somehow is putting an empty title in there, I'm guessing. And we're using platform.name. Why is platform.name empty? That's odd. but we will find out.
Display.
3DO. It's not empty that time. So that one should work.
Big box.
Or not. Alright, I'm missing something here.
Display.
Go ahead and do that, and then filter type is genre, title is null. Let's take a look at other stuff on info. Image name, null. Image path, null. Everything is null on this. I don't understand why. What constructed this guy? That's really weird. So, yeah, why are we getting null stuff getting sent over in our image info? Let's see, put a breakpoint there and see what we get there.
Display.
Okay. Filter type, title, image path is null. So that could be an issue. But title certainly isn't null. But when it gets here, everything is null. When it gets to get thumbnail. Let's take a look at that call. This.info. This is a cover. So we initialize cover with an info. Start it over and take a look at that.
Display.
Go. The info that's getting fed into cover has null everything. Alright, let's take a step back. And go into the reference. New cover. Oh. Aha. This is the problem. Gotcha. So we need another method called public cover, new cover. Instead of game, we need, there's three things. There's filter type, string title, and string image path. And then we can say return new cover. Oops. New image info, filter type, title, image path. Cover position, current position. Oh, we need those extra. All right. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. I see. Okay. And then we have to call that. So we got to fix this. What's the issue here? Whatever. I'll ignore that for now. This, if okay, if image list I. Okay. If this dot image list I dot game equals null, else so cover cover equals this dot cover factory dot new cover this dot image list I dot filter type this dot image list I misspelled it dot title this dot image list I dot image path I new index this. Whew. All right. Now it'll build, but I'm still concerned that image path is null. I'm not quite sure why that is. Why am I building it twice? I don't know. Let's give it a shot, see what happens.
Initializing Big Box.
There it is. Look at that. We have some weirdness going on with the, yeah, I don't know. So nothing as an image right now, obviously, because all the images were null. But at least it's coming up. So we're almost there. We just got to make sure those images aren't null. Why were the images coming over as null? Let's figure that one out first here. So that was back in CoverFlow filters view model. When we add this get image path platform.name, I have a feeling new platform. I'm doing something wrong. String name. No, that's right. Let's put a breakpoint here and see what's going on. Value is 3DO. Saying new platform. You know what? Instead of doing a new platform, I should be loading it up from the data manager. That's probably the issue. So let's do that here first. So basically program dot data manager dot platforms. It's a dictionary. Platforms value. Return. That might just do it.
Initializing Big Box.
We're still empty here. Let's try debugging it.
Initialize.
So first things first. So we do have the platform. We are getting the platform. I'm not sure. 3DO might not have one, but the others should have an image. Yeah, that's getting null. So let's go to the next one. Yeah, get rid of that for now. Okay, we're now on arcade, which should, yeah, have an image. Yeah, it's feeding the image back. Good. So then, what's the matter here? I'm still not seeing anything. I wonder if it's the cache not updating or something. Because we are getting that image path back. Could be that the thumbnail manager is generating from the right item in theory. Let's make sure we got a thumb path coming in here. Okay. Okay, we actually, well, we have the thumb path. Good, it's BBFlow platform 3DO, as it should be. And the file doesn't exist. I wonder if so we're telling it to create the file. I want to put a breakpoint where it actually generates this stuff. Check that out. So we have an item, thumbnail generation item. Oh, we're not calling. We're never generating the thumbnails. Of course. App.create thumbnail, and I think we created this method, we just never used it. Source path in this case is item.imageinfo.imagePath. The thumbnail path is item.path, and then the height. We don't have a setting for this. I'm just going to set this to 800 for now. All right. I think this is going to do it. I hope.
Utilizing Big Box.
Look at that. Now my left and right navigation isn't working, but we are there. Obviously, this is not the ideal set of images to use for the cover flow. I think I'm going to use, what I'd like to do is I'd like to use device images, big old PNG transparent devices. So that's what's coming. I think I'm gonna end the stream here. At least we got it displayed. That was my goal. So the rest of the day I'm gonna keep working on this, but for now I'm gonna take a lunch. I'm gonna take a break, go to lunch. I'll probably stay here, but grab some lunch, etc. So thank you guys. those of you guys who are still left after that whole endeavor, appreciated. Thank you, Vissy. I will see you guys soon. Like I said, I'm planning on doing these every Monday and Wednesday, same time. Thank you all.